Hello, good morning. I'm back after 5 days with no internet connection. We're back again with another fusing tutorial. In this video, I'll be fusing a Chaos Mr. Wish with 5 traits, just like this. So first, if you remember from my first video, I suggested that you duplicate a lot of traits if you want to fuse a deviant with a full set of traits. I recommend having at least 3 copies of each trait at 0 fuse. Aside from the traits, you'll also need to prepare to 5/5 deviants. They can be any deviant, as long as they're both 5/5. One should be clean, and the other should be dirty. You'll also need the Chaos Mr. Wish mutagen. Now, let's get started. You can use any combat deviant, as long as it's clean. This is where you'll transfer all the traits you'll be using for your Chaos Mr. Wish. Now I'll transfer Power Rewind using to 0 fuse copies. Why to 0 fuse copies? Because I want every fusion to have a 100% success rate. I don't want to gamble when it's time to fuse my final deviant. So here, it's 100% guaranteed. Now click Begin Fuse and wait for 5 minutes. So now we have one deviant with Power Rewind 2. For this one, I'm using the Shiny Onion as the parent. Since the Shiny Onion's effect only works on onions, and I'd end up discarding it anyway, I might as well use it as the parent. Now, to make sure Enchanting Void wins, use the 0 fuse Enchanting Void as one of the materials, along with 1 0 fuse Power Rewind 2. This gives you a 100% guaranteed fusion. Now we have 1 fuse Power Rewind 2. Next, use the 0 fuse Enchanting Void that already has Power Rewind 2 as the material. This way, every fusion will have a 66.7% chance. And you can keep repeating the process as you add more traits. So as you can see, my crackshot is on the Shiny Onion. That's why I'm going to use a different parent instead of another onion. If I use an onion as the parent, the traits will compete with each other and the percentages will clash. So I decided to use a mushroom deviant as the parent since it's a territory deviant. It won't affect our combat deviant because their trait pools are different, so they won't interfere with each other. It's okay if the mushroom deviant is dirty since we already have a copy of the Enchanting Void. The mushroom is only being used as the parent, so its existing traits won't matter. Now, as you can see, I'm using the dirty mushroom. I'm confident that Enchanting Void will win because it has a 66.7% chance. Next, we'll add to 0 fuse copies of Crackshot. Using 2 copies gives us a 100% guaranteed transfer, so there's no gambling involved. Now click Begin Fusing and wait for the fusion to complete. Now we finally have an Enchanting Void with 2 traits. Next, we'll use the same method by adding 1 more 0 fuse Crackshot as the material so we can create another copy of the Enchanting Void with the same 2 traits. As you can see, Power Rewind has a 66.7% chance because we're using a dirty mushroom as the parent, but it still succeeds, so don't worry about it. Crackshot is always 100% because we prepared 3 copies of each trait beforehand. Those copies should all be 0 fuse since you'll be using them as materials in your fusion pod. Now we have an Enchanting Void with 2 traits. And we also have a copy of it. So now we'll add an SCP trait. You can choose any SCP trait depending on your preference. But for this build, I'm using Crit Damage because it suits Mr. Wish the best. We'll use the same process again. Use the Enchanting Void with 2 traits. Then use the Dirty Mushroom as the other parent. It's okay if the mushroom is dirty because, as I mentioned earlier, you already have a copy of the Enchanting Void. The Enchanting Void will always have a 66.7% chance, and in my experience, it's been successful every time. So now we have an Enchanting Void with 3 traits. We'll use the same process again to make a copy of it. Use 1 more 0 fuse Crit Damage and the 0 fuse Enchanting Void with 2 traits as the materials. This way, all of the traits will remain at a 100% transfer chance every time. So as you can see, my crit damage trait is on the mushroom. Because of that, I need to switch the parent to a shiny onion so the enchanting void success rate goes back to 66.7%. So there it is, 66.7%. We can fuse it now because we know the enchanting void will win since it has a higher success rate than the shiny onion. So there we have it, an enchanting void with 3 traits. Now it's time to add the 4th and final trait for our Chaos Mr. Wish. For the last trait, we'll use Moonlight Assault. You can get this trait by using a wolf as the material, since wolves provide the Moonlight Assault trait. In my opinion, it's the best trait for Mr. Wish. So now we have an enchanting void with 4 traits. Just repeat the same process to make a copy of it. Simply add one more wolf as the material, and you'll have another enchanting void with the same 4 traits. So now you've finally created an enchanting void with 4 traits, along with a copy of it. Now, I recommend keeping your enchanting void with 4 traits that still has fusion chances left. Instead of using it as a material right away, duplicate it first. That way, you're not wasting its remaining fusion chances. In simple terms, make another copy until you have a 0 fuse enchanting void with the same 4 traits. Now I've prepared a clean combat deviant. Use the enchanting void as the parent and the clean combat deviant as the other parent. Then add 3 clean 0 fuse deviants as materials so that each trait has an 80% chance to be duplicated. Don't worry whether the other deviant wins or it stays as an enchanting void. Your goal here is simply to make the enchanting void reach 0 fuse. If you're lucky, you'll duplicate all 4 traits. If not, that's okay because this part is still based on luck. Even if only some of the traits are transferred, you can still use those copies in your future fusions. Now we've duplicated some of those traits, so we can use them in our future fusions. So now for the exciting part. As I mentioned earlier, you need to prepare to 5/5 parents, 1 clean and 1 dirty. Then take your 2 0 fuse copies of the enchanting void and use them as the materials, along with the Chaos Mr. Wish mutagen. So as you can see, every trait has a 100% transfer chance. The only one at 66.7% is the general trait because we're using a dirty parent. That's perfectly fine, though, since the 66.7% chance has been successful throughout this method. Before you start the fusion, double-check that the 2 parents in the fusion pot are both 5/5. Also, make sure the materials are both 0 fuse copies, and don't forget to add the Chaos Mr. Wish mutagen. Just keep in mind that the result won't always be successful because it's still based on RNG. Even with the best setup, there's always a chance it can fail, so all you can do is hope for a successful result. Also, I recommend always using 5/5 parents when fusing any mutagen. This gives you a better chance of getting a 5/5 result with all of the transfer traits. So there you have it. We finally have a 5/5 Chaos Mr. Wish with all 5 traits. The fusion was a success. I hope this guide helps you succeed in your future fusions as well. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to subscribe so you'll be notified whenever I upload more fusion tutorial videos in the future. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your fusions!